Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And oh my gosh, I am so excited for my guest today. We're going to have such a fun discussion. So please join me in welcoming Eugenia Oganova to our program today. Welcome, Eugenia. How are you?
I am doing great, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited for our chat.
Perfect. I love it. Well, let me tell people a little bit about you, and then we will jump in. So Eugenia Oganova is a business strategist and marketing energetics coach with 2 decades of experience. She is also a clairvoyant transcension mentor, renowned internationally, and a self-made millionaire. She has been featured in Fox, NBC, CBS, USA Today, Brainz, and in more than 100 other publications. Specializing in empowering female coaches, personal transformation experts, and holistic professionals, Eugenia's unique approach combines masculine linear strategy with feminine nonlinear, I'll get that out yet, feminine nonlinear energetics. Her method helps coaches increase their monthly income by 10,000 or 100,000 without added pressure, sacrificing personal needs, or burning out. She guides them in attracting high-ticket clients through clear messaging, strategic alignment, and powerful energetics, eliminating the need for client chasing. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear about that. Eugenia is a best-selling author of 3 books: Mission Alpha, Awakening the Harmony Within, The Secret of Sekhmet, and her 4th book, Wealth by Soul Design, How to Leverage Your Unique, Badass Inner Magic to Grow Your Spiritual Business into a multi-6 or 7-figure empire, is forthcoming. So again, Eugenia, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And the book came.
Yay!
So it's actually out and it became an international bestseller. So
Perfect,
I'm so happy about that.
Right. So I love that. So Wealth by Soul Design. I love that so much. Well, I always like to start by asking my guests, how is it that you got to where you are today and discovered that this is your passion in life?
I did not have to look for it. I'm one of those humans that does everything backwards. So because I was born clairvoyant, I could always see people's energies, timelines, possibilities, and all sorts of environments within them. So by the time I was 2 years old, I was already trying to give advice. And I was doing it through drawings. And people thought it was funny because I would draw something and then it's like, oh, I think she means like say this or don't say that or do this or do. And then when they would follow it, it would work. So then it kind of became known like, oh, this is a weird little kid that's like, go chat next to her about something and then she'll point at something and that would work. So by the time I was 14 years old, I already had a full business. So I was already seeing paying clients and my whole life was sort of service. And I moved on into helping people with their mission in life, their purpose, like why they're here. I look at our existence as sort of combination of superpowers and lessons. And most of the time, everybody's kind of running around looking for their superpowers, but they forget that the lessons are actually the things that we need to clean up or learn in order to get to the superpowers. So that's actually part of what I ended up doing a lot. And so many of my clients were entrepreneurs, were business owners. So I was getting answers like, oh, thank you so much for helping me with my market positioning. I did this and that helped so much. Or I implemented what you said and then this program sold much better or this product sold much better. So I was like, I'm doing what? Market positioning, messaging? Like I didn't even know those terms. So I had to learn because that was fun for me. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have never had a traditional job. I
Okay.
kind of don't believe in that. I think that every human being is here uniquely for our own
Mm-hmm.
path.
Mm-hmm.
So since this was always my path, I just kept enhancing people's journeys. And one of the things I found very unusual is that myself having a spiritual gift and seeing other people around me that also have their own spiritual gifts, it was odd that I could always make money doing it and they could not.
Right.
To me, that was a mystery because money to me is easy. It's everywhere. It flows to me. I know how to work with it. I like money. I don't have a problem with money. I don't separate spirituality and money. But for majority of people with a spiritual bent, like healers and, somebody who does personal transformation work, spiritual coaches, money was kind of a mystery to them. So it over the years ended up honing into this direction of helping these specific people, because those are the people I understand very well, to build in the entrepreneurship component of their spiritual practice so that they can actually generate income and really good income through the work that they are doing. So that's how I became a business coach and messaging energetics coach, because energetics to me is everything. Like I interact through the understanding of personal mastery and the energetics with another person, and knowing how that works within business is the key to making the business actually work well. And I think that that's part of the journey for every human being that is interested in, especially women, that interested in doing business. When you are trying to make your business work, you're in a scarcity mentality.
Right.
But when you are serving at the high level and you're doing your spiritual work while at the same time generating income through it, now that's a different story. So that's what I help my clients to do. And I kind of naturally arrived through that from just being able to read people's energy fields and understanding myself. And that's the process that then developed into the methodology that I now use, which is conscious future method, which is like how you build your future consciously, which involves the business components and the energetic components.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh. I took several notes during all of this because it is so fascinating to me. I love that you enhance, you mentioned enhancing what people are doing, because I think so many times we go into business because we think we have to, or we shouldn't do this because people told us when we were often little girls, oh no, you can't do that. And we pigeonhole ourselves, and then we're unhappy because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And I love that you help people get through that and really go, nah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, most of my clients come to me at the place where they already have a business that is usually a lower ticket business. So they're selling
because they kind of have to do it.
Well, maybe have to, maybe they just fell into it. Like, let's say doing one-off sessions for like a couple $100, or teaching workshops, or professionals who like acupuncturists or herbalists or therapists, psychotherapists, and so on. They all have skills. They have tremendous amount of skills, and they're doing sort of a lower level work with those skills. And the issue with that is usually that the skills are awesome, the results are awesome, but the person within their business is not happy, and that hustle is not scalable because it's the time is the limit. So when somebody is doing one-off sessions, they run into that wall of like, okay, I cannot work anymore. And I've been there myself. Like I've had my business structured incorrectly originally. So I was working essentially 12-hour days, and I was booked a year ahead. So it's like my business was booming, everything was great, my clients had great results, and I was doing my soul work. Like I was literally helping people that I love. But the problem was that I was not only capped financially, but I was capped like in my life. I couldn't breathe. So I had to readjust that. And that's how I ended up with this understanding of how one's soul design, which is like how we build, has influence on how the business needs to be built. Because there are some people, especially men, who do very well with a low ticket business. Like when they have something that they're selling for $27 or $97 and they build huge audience. There are some people who kind of design for that. But majority of people that I find, especially if they are deeper in what they do with their clients, so it involves personal transformation, which is always a journey. It's not kind of like, okay, quick fix. We're
It's
gonna
long
like
term.
it's not a band-aid. It's more of a long-term process that allows somebody to truly transform either their mindset or their body, their health, their emotional state, and so on. That requires a different payment because it's a different level of work. So structuring that type of work as if it is low ticket work, it doesn't actually work very well.
Right, because it's just transaction after transaction after transaction.
Yeah, and most of the people who are very good at doing what they do, experts in that field, may they be, as I said, some sort of a professional, holistic professional, or an energy healer, they usually have repeat clients that just kind of stay with them for years. I know I did, but the issue with that is still the same concept that you are doing the high level work for a low level fee. Because I don't know like about most people, but for me and my clients, we cannot turn off the magic. Like we still deliver 100% or 200%.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to go, well, I'm going to give you less
if somebody
today.
Pay us 5,000 or exactly. So price doesn't necessarily determine the amount of value someone delivers if they are aligned. And everybody I work with are highly conscious, aligned human beings. So we are not able to deliver less just because the fee is less. And that to me is an indication that you're actually made for a higher ticket market, because there are plenty of people who actually can deliver less. They say like, oh, for this appointment, you just get this unless you pay me more and then you get that. But if you're the type of a person that to you, whatever the work you do is, you naturally like something starts coming through you, you start delivering, like information drops in, you kind of bring it to the person all the way, well, then you're actually built for a higher ticket market. And that's the part that I had to figure out within myself. And this is also, as I apply to me, I realized, well, hell, this is what I teach my clients to do. Why haven't I done it with myself? So then I readjusted my business to match what my design needed. And in doing so, I also help myself get more clear on the methodology, because I've always been applying it, but I guess I have not put it into form. So that was like 15 years ago, where I organized it into like, okay, if I kind of decode myself, because for me, this is easy. Why, like, how is this working? Oh, I'm doing this, this, and this. And once I understood what I'm doing, I realized that I can actually show other people who are also professionals how they can apply a version of that. And to me, every person is unique. So it's not like becoming a copy of me. I don't teach cookie cutter strategies. It's more of understanding how it works and then customizing it for each client to apply the methodology the way that fits their soul design. Because I have some clients who are like my design and some who are completely not. So we always have to modify to match the person. So that's kind of my view on the business, is that whatever it is you are doing in your business structures and in your marketing structures and even in your market positioning and messaging has to match your soul design, not the skills that you've learned. So like if you build your business on your soul skills, that's like, it's a different thing, like soul expertise versus skills. Let me explain. When somebody goes to school and they learn, let's say you learn how to become an acupuncturist or a therapist, or you learn healing modalities or whatever. Over a lifetime, you can look back and probably make a list of like 20 things at least that you've learned or got certified in, or went to school for. Those are a category of skills. That is not what you put your business on. That is not what market positioning in my world is built on. But unfortunately, that is what everybody is being taught to build their market positioning on.
And
like,
they tell people, I do this, this.
Exactly. Like I'm a life coach, or I'm a, therapist, or I'm a hypnotherapist, I'm a breathwork coach. Those are skills. And if you put your stake in the ground, your market positioning as that, you become average. And average means you're competing. And
Right.
now when somebody comes to you and says, I'm wondering if you're the coach for me, they comparing you to other coaches,
Right.
and you now end up convincing in order to sell. And that nobody likes. Like,
Right.
I don't
And
know about you,
you
like, I
have to
hate
do it
convincing.
continually
You have
because
to do
they're
it
going to
continually.
keep going. Am I supposed to be going to this person?
And if, let's say, you are still in a lower pricing, you have to do it a lot to even get to 10,000 a month.
Right.
So the way that my methodology works is we look at how to package someone based on their soul expertise, which is not the skills. Skills are sort of tools in a toolbox, but who are they? Like their soul design, their unique something that they did not have to learn. So we decode what is their innate superpowers. And that a lot of times doesn't look like it has anything to do with business, but that is actually where we put the stake in the ground. That's the market position. Then to that, of course, the skills are added. Now that becomes packaged as a much higher level product. So it's all in integrity. Like, I don't believe in putting a $0 to a $500 program and saying, oh, now it's 5,000. Like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah,
actually,
no.
you build a program that matches it. But let's say, high ticket begins at 10, but let's just say some people think 5. But what I teach is like 7, 10 and up. Like some of my clients have $30,000 programs and so on. That is where you package yourself based on your soul expertise. Now you are the market of one. There is no one who does that. So
you are so unique.
Right. And when somebody hears your message, they do not look at you as in versus someone else.
Right.
They look
because
at
there
you
is nobody that compares.
They look at you as you are the only one. You are interesting for the frequency that you are broadcasting. So that's the wealth energetics part. And then being attracted to that, it becomes much more of elevating themselves as the client to match the frequency. And if they can do that, now it essentially creates pre-sold clients because it eliminates any objections. And now the person is, well, they either yes or no. Like if they were attracted to you, that's usually a yes. And if they weren't attracted to you, they wouldn't go as far as the sales call.
And so that's okay because they're just doing what works
self-selecting.
better for them.
Yeah. So that's the process that allows you to not have to chase after clients, not have to compete, not have to convince anyone, which are the traditionally sort of things that people like, I hear this a lot, like, oh, I hate marketing. And then I start looking, it's like, let's see, what do you think marketing is? And, oh, well, it's convincing, it's competing. It's like, no, actually, none of those things are marketing. Marketing is something completely different. It's about embodying your unique expertise and then sharing that while resonating that frequency in the words that your clients can understand. And when they realize that, they're like, oh, that's actually kind of fascinating. Like, yep, because that's what actually marketing is. But most, especially women, were taught incorrectly because they're looking at the world of marketing from the standpoint of bro marketing, like masculine marketing. And those strategies are, first of all, for the low ticket market, second, for the lower type of client, somebody who needs to be convinced and who is in the middle of trauma, drama, pain, and whatever, and needs a quick fix. So that's already a very different sort of territory. And yes, if you market to these people, it is absolutely true that you will end up having to utilize some of these masculine strategies to convince the person
to
or
keep
guilt them or something to buy. But would you want to do it? Of course not. But that does not mean that this is all that there is. It's just this is a little slice of marketing that I think everybody kind of been scarred by, this manipulative sales, manipulative marketing. And a lot of people have misconception that that's what business is. That's what marketing is, especially if they're coming from more of a spiritual bent. And because I have both like one foot in one world, one in another, I unite the masculine strategy, because there are some proven strategies that are very, very good, with feminine, non-linear quantum energetics. So that would be like all the things of application strategies that are more intuitive, that are more emotionally and energetically connected to you. But we're still anchoring that in a business material linear strategy from the masculine side that is aligned or matching or at least fitting your soul design. Now you are doing something that is, let's say, 3 things instead of 200 things, but those 3 things are easier to do because they kind of fit into how you're meant to be. You're not twisting yourself into a pretzel in order to become something you're not. In fact, you actually working on becoming more and more you, which to me is the whole journey of entrepreneurship, is that it's about us becoming more masterful at ourselves and delivering our gift.
Right. And I am a marketer by trade. And, for me, it's all about how do you develop those relationships with people? You have to be authentic, right? You cannot be someone, and I think that's where we end up offering the 500 things as opposed to 3, because I'm going to do whatever I have to sell to you. And it is about, there's the old adage that it is know, like, and trust. We have to develop that first. Now, if I'm buying laundry soap, I don't care, right? And so, it's whatever happens to be on sale. But if it is something that is much deeper and more meaningful, I want that relationship. I want that authenticity. I want to know, more about everything that's going to be happening before I'm going to say, okay, I want to do that. And so it's about, we have to be authentic to ourselves and our passions, because a lot of times we do get caught in you're going to pay me to do this. Okay, fine. I need the money. And that comes back to that word you said before, the scarcity, right? Where when we are doing something because we have bills to pay. Now, we all have bills to pay. It's not going to change. But the way we go about it is different. And, and the scarcity is you get just enough to pay those bills. And then next month you have to get just enough to pay those bills. And it's never, okay, how can we go from scarcity to abundance?
Yeah. And to me, if you are running a business on this scarcity way of just paying the bills, that's a low ticket business. And a lot of people do that, but that's why most coaches don't make more than even 2,000 a month. But coaches I work with, make 100,000 a month and more. And the reason for that is because, first of all, if you are at the place where you are thinking of even stepping into higher ticket market and starting to sell offers that are 5,000 and more, I would suggest that your business needs to be stable so you're not in need.
Right.
That could be either by you having enough of a low ticket, something that sells, so you can now experiment with a higher ticket. Or if you have some financial cushion, I mean, I have some clients that, let's say, been taking a lot of programs, working with clients kind of part-time while having a corporate job. And then when they quit the corporate, they build up enough cushion so now they can work with me to build their high ticket business. And then they start selling offers from like 10, 15,000 from the start. That's totally possible. It's not like you have to build up to selling higher ticket. No, you just have to be an expert at what you do. So it's in integrity. But as long as you actually are, you can start high.
Right.
But in order to take away the pressure, you need to have financially something that is taking care of the basic needs. It's like literally one of my things that I do not take somebody for whom I'm the Hail Mary, the last resort.
Save me, Eugenia.
That is not what I do. So if you're in that position, I suggest take a part-time job so you can finance your basic needs and then work on your business. The reason for that is literally wealth energetics, because this is the part that gets overlooked so much. People still think that there's some magic tactic, magic sales script or something, and it's not. It's literally your confidence, your level of expertise, and how much you can own the value of that, how clearly you can deliver that value in your words to explain that to the potential client so they actually get what it is you do. And it's your ability to be gracious, to be spacious, to hold space. Because as soon as we flip into our own personal trauma, drama, fears, desperation,
then we're back in scarcity.
Yeah, we're right back in scarcity. And that literally repels someone who would have come in and paid you $10,000. Because in order to receive money, you have to be not in need for it. This is a really weird kind of a thing that most people like, well, yeah, but I want more, I want more. And I always say, look for why. What are you trying to prove? Oh, you're trying to prove your mommy, your daddy, your sister. You're trying to one off somebody. You're trying to say, well, I'm good enough. I will be good enough if I don't know, get to 100K or 200K or whatever. Those are negative drives.
Right.
And those drives don't get you far. It's true that you might be fired up enough to prove your dad wrong, let's say, and get to 100K
but then
by just
what?
hustling you hard out. And then you burn out.
Right.
Because that's it. The drive runs out. That's why there's so many entrepreneurs who do push to like 80,000, 100,000, 120,000, and then they don't even want to do their business anymore. They're like, I don't know, I can just walk away, let the whole thing burn. I'm sick of it. I'm tired. I hate it. And it's like, why would you spend this much effort to build something you hate? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So what I teach is looking from the standpoint of, let's find a drive that is truly naturally within you, that is service-based and not negativity of some sort. You're not running away from something.
Right.
So running away from something works for a lower level business just to like get it started. And fine, great, you did that. But now what? Now let's look at, what do you actually want? So I usually tell people, like, if you imagine that right now, whatever this thing you think you're chasing, like, oh, I just need to get to 100K, or I just need to have $10,000 months maybe, or maybe I just won the $250,000 finally mark that I crossed. Okay, whatever that is that you think you need to have, imagine it's already done. Okay.
Yeah. Then what?
Exhale. Now double that. So if you wanted 10K months, okay, 20K months. That's just guaranteed it's happening. Exhale. You wanted $250,000, you're at $500,000. Exhale. Now what? And when you do that, it creates space. And for the first time, maybe for some people, they start to look at like, oh my God, why do I really do this? Like, that's where you start to look at, what kind of program do I really want to create that somebody would pay 10K for? Like, what is it that is in me that wants to up-level human consciousness somehow, that wants to serve, that wants to actually, you know, that I care about deeply, not from the standpoint like, oh, I just want to alleviate all the pain in the world. Well, if you want to do that, that's a low ticket or free. Like, go on YouTube, have a YouTube channel, alleviate the pain all you want. But that's a Band-Aid solution, because pain is caused by patterns that are deeper than something that could be.
Yeah, you take the Band-Aid off and it happens again.
Yeah. So that's just a common sense thing. And I hope whoever needs to hear it hears it, that if you're the bleeding heart that just, but I just want to help people and some people can't afford it. And yes, that's true. But the part of the reason for that is because they are at the stage in life where they do not need you if you are actually the person who does that high level work. Like, I work with leaders. I work with people who are in charge of their own communities, who are leading them somewhere, and they want help. And quite often when you are in a leadership position, it's very hard to get support from somebody who is at the leadership place as well, and even further ahead than you. Because most of us, we kind of think like, okay, well, I'm in charge of everything. It's all my responsibility. So when you find someone that can actually show you some, issues to look for and to deal with, and how to clean them up and avoid maybe certain problems and so on, that's been there and further ahead than you, that is really useful and beneficial, not just for that individual, but for the community that they are the leader of. So that's my job. But that's also why my prices are the way that they are, and why my programs are the way that they are. Because they influence individuals who then influence more individuals. So you got to look as to what is your journey and what are you delivering, so you're not stuck in just trying to accommodate. Because when we try to accommodate the client, we actually onboard their limiting beliefs. And now you're serving no one.
Right. And you might be successful at doing whatever it is that they needed, but it goes no further than that. I keep thinking, and I don't know why I keep thinking about this, like a car salesman, right? And we all have that view in our heads of the used car salesman. They have their quotas that they have to fill, and so they don't even care, what you need. They just are going to get you in a car, and it may or may not be the car you need, but they don't care, because they have to meet their quota. And if they really cared, for one thing, they're probably not going to be doing that, right? But they, they're going to find what is the best fit for you. And I think that's, and I mean, I'm no knock on sales, salespeople. We all need cars, right? So we need car salesmen, but it is very, I just keep thinking it is a different level that you're talking about. And you mentioned, being of service. And I think that really is what it is, what were we put on this planet to do? What is our service that we're to provide people?
Yeah, and from the energetic standpoint, this is the part where the nonlinear piece comes in, is understanding that everything that you want to create already exists. This is the part that I think many people were not taught. They were taught that what they want is somehow they have to like push and hustle for to get to, like it's further ahead somewhere in a destination. And you have to set a goal and you have to get to the goal and that kind of thing. Like, I don't do goal setting. I don't teach my clients how to set goals at all. We just don't do that at all. What we do instead is we look at what's the vision.
Okay.
What is the overarching soul mission that why are you here? What's the vision of how we're going to get you there? And then we utilize quantum field. Now, quantum field is if you know nuclear physics, like you can think of it like it's an ocean of possibilities. It's everything that's undifferentiated that is. So every possibility of everything, and if we translate that onto coaching business, that would be your most high ticket client, you're the most amazing launch where you sold, I don't know, $250,000 in one launch or whatever it is, your perfect sales conversation, your amazing client result, whatever it is you desire, it's already in existence. That client and you already had that conversation. Like, all these possibilities exist. When you focus on something, that means energetically you are matching it. So think of it like two tuning forks, and if you find the vibration of the thing that you want, you vibrate as it. Now you're a match. When you do that, you collapse potential from the quantum field into this reality. What that looks like, it materializes for you. Now, I know it sounds kind of out there, and I don't mean like
it hurt my head,
like physically in front of you, but what I do mean though is it begins to show up in your life, because in our brain, the reticular activating system is looking for a specific pattern. And we are the ones who trained our brain to look for the pattern. So back to the energetics, the wealth energetics and the quantum field. If for a moment you just take it as an assumption that, okay, what I want already happened. It already exists outside of my linear time. And it has a specific ding, a frequency, like a tuning fork with a certain sound. Now, I need to find that frequency. And that's what I help my clients do in addition to business and marketing strategy, is let's help your body vibrate as whatever that thing you want. So let's say you who right now may be at close to 100,000, but not quite after that mark, versus you who has half of the clients, but charging double the price and is past 100,000. It's a very different you. It's a very different experience in her life. Maybe right now you're working 8 hours a day, she's working 4 hours a day. Maybe right now you're working 5 days a week, she's working 3 days a week, and so on. So what we want is to start finding play pretend, you can think of it like a kid pretending experiences. So you imagine you're an actress in your own movie and you're playing the role of her, the one who in the future already has that. The more you do that, and I have specific ways of how to do that, so it actually leads you to connect to your body, to your emotions, to your mind, and start vibrating as the thing that you want. So back to everything in the quantum field, that thing you want has the ding that you wanted. That's the tuning fork. You have a different thing. Your sound is different. That's why you don't have the thing that that thing has. So as you start to adjust and play pretend and kind of go through like some of the things that I teach my clients, you start to vibrate closer and closer. So the sounds at some point match. And when they match, think of it like if you had a piece of paper and you had one dot and another dot, you can draw a line between them. That's a linear path. So this is step by step process to get from point A to point B.
And that's the masculine
That's
linear.
a masculine way. What I just described, when you are a tuning fork that matched the sound or vibration of the thing you wanted, we take that piece of paper and we bend it, and the 2 points just match. And now there is no linear steps to it. That's how magic happens. That's how I have clients who come to me selling $100 sessions, and now they're selling $15,000 programs. That's how I have people who, like, I literally just had one of my clients, Elle, she came to me, she was doing workshops every single week in person, trying to get clients for her $75 sessions on energy clearing, and she was barely getting by. So
she was in that desperation mode.
She was well, she was not in a desperation. She was just in a confusion mode, I would say, because she's like, why is it so hard? And she's 60 something, 62. So she's like, okay, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, but I kind of need to like get finally this thing going. So when we started working together, the first thing that became apparent is, my God, she's a leader. She's a master. Like there is so much power in this person that somehow was completely missed because she was doing energy clearing. So we repackaged all her power, everything into energetics that she was delivering, like the healing component, and connecting that to her actual expertise, which we had to uncover. And that got packaged for $7,500.
Oh,
and
she added several zeros.
Yeah, she added 2 zeros, and then 3 zeros, and then no, 2 zeros.
Yeah,
2
3.
Zeros. So 7,
yeah,
7,
I don't know. Now I've got lost.
7,500 instead of $75, right? And we figured out how to speak about it, because she also had a methodology, but she kind of never taught that she does.
The messaging is
right. So we figured out, like, okay, these are the words you want to use when you describe this thing instead of the words you were using. And as we adjusted that, I think that was like 3 weeks. So she did her workshop again that she does every week, and she sold one. 7,500 paid in full. So she was like, oh my God. This is crazy. Next week she did a workshop, she sold one. So then she sold, so far she sold 6. So every workshop she sold at least one. That's 7,500. So I mean, 4 weeks in a month. So 4 per month. And if she keeps going like this, which I assume she will, she's now at the place where she's saying, I think I need to create a group program, because there's just too many one-on-ones. Like, I can't accommodate that. Now, that's what happens when you reposition on your soul expertise, when you shift into wealth energetics out of scarcity energetics, and when you find the correct words to speak about the value of what you do. This is what I mean by the quantum creation, the nonlinear. When she connected one dot and another dot, she became the tuning fork that said, oh, it's totally normal for me to sell 7,500. When before she literally never sold anything past like $75. So that was just a huge internal shift. But once she embodied that, she was able to then, with the correct business strategy, which is the messaging and like that, those pieces, the packaging, she was able to sell this with no problem, no objections, and every single person so far paid in full, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. So that's the magic that I think from most people's standpoint, they're like, well, how is this even possible? Like, you need to have, like, I don't know, 6 months runway to get there. And it's true for some people, yes, you do, but not like working with me, not from the standpoint of you need this for your business, but for the standpoint you need it for you to become the tuning fork that can match the frequency. For some people, it's more, because it depends how much crap you have in a way. Because if you've been resistant to owning your value, like, who am I to charge that much? This is the question that, like, okay, you got to deal with that before you become my client. Because what that tells me is that, 1, you don't value yourself, and 2, somebody else gives you permission to charge something or not. So you're not even authority over yourself. And 3, you think that whatever, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 is much. Because if you think that it's a lot of money, then what do you think your prospective client is going to think? They're going to think it's a lot of money and start to have all sorts of objections. So one thing that I just really want people to get is, you can never sell what you don't find normal, what has not been normalized in your energetics. Not that you convinced your mind that, oh, it should be worth this because my coach told me that. Like, no, we're not talking about that. Because if you're really honest with yourself, look for, where are you not owning the value? Either the value of your gift, you discarding that and saying, well, you know, I just need to like put 200 things into my offer and everything in the kitchen sink because, you know, my healing ability is not enough, or my insight is not enough, when actually that might be the very thing for which the clients come to you. So there is the ownership of the value that is all. Maybe it's the ownership of the pricing. Maybe it's the ownership of your words. Maybe you don't have methodology. It's another one very common thing, because I think people don't understand that you cannot sell a higher ticket anything without a clear method. With the lower ticket stuff, you totally can. You just sell whatever the thing is. But when you get to pricing like 5,000 and above, you do need to have a system, a method, whatever you want to call it, but some way by which you deliver that is a standard operating procedure, so that is repeatable, because then it creates predictable results. Within that, you can customize all you want. So for all of you people who out there just heard that and said, oh, but that will trap me in my creativity, and then I won't be able to just do what I want. And it's like, no, you always can do what you want if your system or your method is set up correctly. Because it's true, if you create such a narrow system, then you kind of trapped yourself. Yes. But like, don't do that.
Back to that linear system.
Yeah. Instead, create a system that is spacious enough to accommodate the higher concepts of what you're delivering. Then within that, you can customize all you want, use different tools with different clients, depending on what is needed, and you never feel limited. Also, there are different soul designs. So some designs like repeatable, steady process. So then they need to do something every day in their marketing.
They're the very type A people.
Not necessarily. They're different type A people. Soul design is not about the personality type. It's from that standpoint, like you said, it's more about the energetics of a person. So think of it like the typical designs there. I mean, there's like thousands of them, but like if we simplify, let's say somebody could be steady going, like steady as she goes. Those are the people they need every day, something repeatable. They do like 2 hours, whatever. Then there are people who are inspiration based. Those are the people who
they just kind of go,
not necessarily. They don't just go whatever. That's actually not decoding themselves.
Right. Instead, because you're never going to, if you just keep kind of floating around out there, you need to land on something.
Yes and no, because if somebody is inspiration based, they need to understand what is their soul design, that's the pattern, what is their expertise, and what is it that their method. Once they know that, they do not have to land anymore into anything, because that would actually feel like entrapment. Instead, what they need to do is honor when the inspiration strikes, because if you are that type of design, that means you should go live or write an email or something when the energy is flowing, which means you don't cook dinner right now. You don't let your husband interrupt you or whatever. Like, doors closed, you got to do when it happens. You turn on the camera. If you're driving, you pull off and you go live. Like, you have to honor that, because that's when it works for your design. And then the rest of the time, you just live your life. So as long as you have a strategy, that's a very specific type. Somebody else could be a batcher, like I'm a batcher. So I can work like crazy, like a typical type A for, let's say, 2-3 days or 24 hours even without sleep. But then I can take 3 days when I don't even want to do anything. So because of that, I can record 10 videos in one day, let's say, and that's done. Then everything will be scheduled. Or I would write 10 emails in one sitting, and then it's done. Versus the steady type, the first one I described, where they would need to write one email and post that email, one video and post that video the next day. Like, that would kill me, because that's not my design. But for some other people, that is literally what they need to do. So what I see the most, and there's many other designs. There's some people who need to do it in response to something. There's some people, they need to network. They need to be in the world to have that interaction, and many, many, many others. But what most people do is they follow the idea that the design of how they are should be the first type, the steady as she goes thing, because that's the masculine.
It's what we've been taught.
Yeah, that's kind of like the traditional like 9-to-5 job and that kind of thing. The problem with that is that most of us are actually not that type. There are some that type, totally. Mostly men, actually. The women are not typically that type, but there are some women that are. And if you are, great, that works for you. But for, I would say, 80% of women that is not that type, that would feel like some sort of a
I hate that. I would hate that.
And when you are in that place, you probably been there for years through your schooling, through your like whatever else you've been doing. And especially if you've been entrepreneur for a while, thinking that you have to do your business that way, like having specific office hours and this and that. That's the part that kind of creates the internal resentment and bitterness that then makes us feel bad about our business. And this is another component of the wealth energetics here to watch out for, because if you subconsciously are resenting your business because it's making you do something that feels like you're forcing yourself into a suit that's not tailored to you, that is not scalable. So that you're kind of like capping yourself there at your capacity, at your wealth capacity. So expanding your wealth capacity is the key to bringing in more flow of wealth, more ideal premium clients that you actually want to work with. This is where you get to be choosy, because now you're honoring the vibration of your tuning fork. So now it's not about, I want to make money, because that part is taken care of. Now it's more about, am I vibrating as the frequency I want to be vibrating? If I say yes to this client, is this going to take me out of my ideal frequency? Because if it's going to, because you're already noticing, even in a pre-call interaction, let's say, that you're getting annoyed, or you're getting frustrated with this person, or you're accommodating, or there's like this weird dynamic going on.
Yeah, there is a negative something in there.
Yeah, there's some red flags. And the longer you do it and the more self-aware you are, the more you realize that. So that is something that you need to internally, obviously, work with your side of that, so you're not sabotaging your own progress. But if you are worked enough with yourself to the point that you see like, okay, this is not me, but it's making me lower my frequency to talk to this person, then it's a clue that you probably shouldn't be working with this person. So that's somebody that you can downsell into your course or something, but I wouldn't take somebody like that into one-on-one program, let's say, because frequency-wise, that would sabotage. So that's kind of the bigger view of what I teach, is to step one is to find who you are. Like that's your soul design.
Yeah, the self-awareness. And I keep thinking of that, how, and I'm thinking, there are probably, and God bless them, a lot of people that never reach that point.
Yeah, and those are the people who are usually not meant to be in a high-ticket market, because to my understanding, unless you are that good, you shouldn't be charging that much, right? So kind of like, if we look at the pricing from the standpoint of connection to value in integrity, you have to provide a value. Now that value, if let's say you're not a personal transformation something, but let's say you're delivering website design or marketing or ads or something like that, awesome, just be an expert at that. So you're not just like, oh, I learned somebody's technique and now I'm trying to sell it, but it has to be yours, it has to be innovative, it has to be awesome. If that is so, great, you should charge a lot of money for that, or whatever it is in your marketplace is considered higher ticket. So the main part, though, is start from what is your design, what is natural for you. Look for the things where you are in the position of something you don't like, some friction is happening, because those things need to be adjusted. Either your business strategy or your marketing, or sometimes you just outsource it to somebody if it still has to be done, or maybe it doesn't need to be done. Maybe you're doing something like you shouldn't be doing. Maybe you're trying to sell a program you're not aligned with. So understanding these components is very important first piece. That's what you build your market positioning on. And if you've been in business for a while, what I find is that the market positioning has to adjust if you're going from a low ticket to high ticket quite a lot, because you're actually been positioned incorrectly. Like if somebody's going from, I'm a life coach or a breathwork coach to something else that's going to be high ticket, it's going to be different market positioning, because now you're basing it on the expertise. If somebody already has been selling higher ticket programs, like some people come to me when they already have like $15,000 program or $25,000, and they're trying to figure out like how to enhance their sales process or how to align their business overall more to their soul design, then it's not so much market positioning, although there's always some tweaks there, but it's usually more about your own energetics that we tease out, like what matches you the most. And then we find little fine-tuning places where there are either some cracks or holes in the process, so that you're not leaking anything, so that energy that arrives into your funnel can actually move all the way through to the destination that you are guiding potential clients through. So it's a slightly different refinement process versus let's readjust everything and just actually position you correctly. But the methodology still applies the same, as in what is your design, your expertise, how do we want to position that in the marketplace? And then from that, what is your method? Get clear on the method. It's amazing to me how many people come to me, even with high ticket offers, and they don't have methodology and they wonder why it's not selling. Or
I'm going to post on Facebook.
Or they have one that is so confusing that it's just like, oh my God. So then we simplify the marketing, because marketing doesn't need to be 200 things. I mean, unless you have, I don't know, millions and millions of followers and stuff, then fine, have a team that makes you omnipresent. But until you're at that level, and most of my clients, they don't have a huge following, you don't actually need it for selling anything high ticket. What you do need, though, is very clear market positioning and message and correct energetics. So once you have that, then depending on your soul design, we can figure out how to create marketing pieces that fit you, that feel natural, and that you can do with ease. Like somebody could be more of a talker, so they should be presenting. Somebody else more of a writer, they should be guest posting. Somebody else more of a natural communicator, they should network in social media maybe, and so on. So there are different ways to do that. But once you have that, now your business feels like a perfectly tailored outfit that's matching you, and you're utilizing the linear strategy and a non-linear strategy, so you're able to create quantum leaps. You're able to move ahead in jumps instead of this 1 foot in front of the other process that might take years. So that's the shortcut. Like in 3 months and 4 months and 6 months, you can jump your business into completely different level by utilizing this strategies.
Right. Oh, yeah, there's so much. One of the things that I kept thinking was, in linear, it's also pretty easy to go backwards, and to undo what you've been doing. But I've really been thinking, I love the tuning fork, and the self-awareness, because we all know in our gut, our heart, our head, our soul, whatever it is that we want to call it, when we're not at that right frequency, right? And there are times where, it might just be for that day, who knows? But, the whole overall, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. We know that, we feel that. And, to be self-aware enough to accept that and not kick yourself, right? Because it's really, there's nobody's fault that, it was, but then to be able to go, okay, how do I fix this?
Yeah, and a lot of times judgment is actually counterproductive.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to look at it more like I want to assess myself instead of I want to judge myself. So if you're afraid of self-judgment and because of it, you never look at yourself, that's going to be a problem. So you kind of do need to actually be able to assess yourself without judgment. So think of it, assessment is like looking at, okay, what is? Once I know what is, then I can advise us to what to do about it. But judgment is more like attaching meaning to what is.
Well, and judgment frequently comes with blame.
I am not good enough, or because of that, something is wrong. That's attaching meaning to whatever you are noticing.
Right. Well, like I said, there's just so many things going on in my head. And I think one of the things is that, especially as women, we hear about this a lot, the whole imposter syndrome. That we think we're not good enough. And I love, that now one of the big things that we say is we are enough. We are just, we are. We don't have to
go
be
much further than that. I would say we're not just enough. We're extraordinary, amazing, one-time quantum events. So each one of us is a unique singularity, and there's no other like it. So from that standpoint, in the quantum field, you cannot be not valuable because you're an essential piece of the puzzle of the universe. If you did not exist, the universe will fall apart.
Right. So because it's all tied together.
Yeah. Then you start taking away the conditioned meanings. Conditioned meanings are the things you've been imprinted with from other people. And anytime you in your head find yourself with if then, if I do this, then if I was like this, then I'm good enough. If I, just get to this
that's
level,
that judgment.
That right there is scarcity energetics. So as soon as you're in that, that's a clue, wrong direction. Instead, what you want to go into, I am already. That's like a magic words. I am already. So just apply that to anything. I am already enough. I've already signed this client. I've already have this. As soon as you do that, something happens that almost like catapults your brain into future perspective. And it's like, oh, I can just chill for a moment. And by doing that, you shift yourself out of judgment.
I love that. Well, oh my gosh, Eugenia, I could go on talking to you forever because this is just absolutely fascinating. So it just means we have to have you on again. we don't have very much time left. And so please tell us how people find you, and we'll have links, obviously, but how do they find you, and what are some of the services that you provide? I mean, you've been doing a good description, but how do people find you when they're thinking, I got to do this?
Yeah, you can go to my website, eugeniaoganova.com. So it's my name. And this is where you will find in the Work With Me section 2 programs. One is Conscious Future Method, which is a mastermind, which is the thing I was describing here, the different steps. And if you happen to be a beginner that has a business that's really at the early stages and you're just trying to figure out how to sell your first offer at 3,000 or 5,000, then I have also a program for that, the Foundations program. So check those out. You can also find me anywhere on social media with the tag Eugenia Oganova. And for this audience, I would love to give you a gift, which is a 5 mini videos. It's like a series that describes this methodology in a way that helps you start to get what you can apply right now. So that is the piece as to how can you not chase clients that are high ticket. Where do you find high ticket clients? How to sell to high ticket clients? What might be missing or what you might be doing that repels high ticket clients, and so on. So that is expandyourwealthcapacity.com. Go there and you are able to watch this. And of course, get my book, Wealth by Soul Design. And if you just go on literally website, Wealth by Soul Design, you will get the ebook described in there with more bonuses versus, let's say, Amazon, because if you buy it through Wealth by Soul Design, you get tons of goodies.
We like the goodies. Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, oh my gosh. I mean, this has been just absolutely wonderful discussion. And I can't wait to talk to you again. But until then, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
If you can envision something, if there is a dream or desire in your heart and some part of you says, oh God, that's never going to happen, or that's too big, or that's far out there, I would say that in the quantum field, that already exists, that already happened. And the only reason you even have that thought or that desire in your heart is because some part of you is already vibrating in a way that's matching that desire, which means it's meant for you. It's meant for you in this lifetime. It's meant for you now. So come to work with somebody like me or another energy healer or another business coach and create the shortcut to get there. But the imprint is that thing is already there. Oh, it's meant for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm Deb Creer. I've been having an absolutely fascinating discussion with Eugenia Oganova. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.